My bad. I didn't realize I was muted there. Hi there. This is Datila, and welcome to the Wrestling Time Post Show. It is Monday, September 4th, 2023. Happy Labor Day, everybody. And tonight I'll be talking about Monday Night Raw. So tonight's Raw was a fallout from Payback. There was also a special Monday Night Raw because tonight's Raw would determine whether or not Gunther was going to surpass a Honky Tonk Man's record as the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. So, Gunther and Gable each cut a promo on tonight's Raw. Of course, Gunther was talking about how Gable doesn't belong in the history books and his legacy will be forever, and he will go down in history as one of the greatest and longest reigning IC champions in history. So, Chad Gable and Gunther main evented. This was their third match, the rubber match. Chad Gable's family was at ringside, and this was a really good match. Throughout the night, they wanted to make this really special, and they highlighted Intercontinental Champions throughout the night. But it's interesting that they left off a few people. So first, they left off Chris Jericho, who is the only 9-time Intercontinental Champion. They left very good main event. Glad Gunther's reign is still intact. Yep. They also, correct me if I'm mistaken, but I don't believe they showed China tonight either, which is quite sad if you ask me, because China is the first and only female 2-time Intercontinental Champion. And they also didn't show a certain Rabbit Wolverine. So, just goes to show that they likes to rewrite its own history. But anywho, this was the main event, and there was a lot of pressure on Gunther. He needed to win this match in order to beat the Honky Tonk Man's record. And really great match. It delivered, and honestly, it deserved the main event. Like, Gable, he took off his straps. He pulled a Kurt Angle. Hey, girlie, I'm in the middle of JD versus Sami, but wanted to stop by to show support. I know your day was rough, but I hope Raw made your day a little better. Oh, thank you, JJ. That means a lot. They won't even mention those three. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But, Gable did become the first person to beat Gunther. He didn't win by pinfall. He did not win by submission, but he won by countout. So, granted, we know Chad Gable is capable of beating Gunther here. And Chad Gable really took it to Gunther in this match. That superplex to then headbutt splash and then the ankle lock. That was an incredible combo. Or that moon. No, you know what spot I really liked the most here? The moonsault to the ankle lock. That was an incredible spot. I really like that spot. And you can tell Gunther was feeling like, why isn't this guy going down? Like, he threw everything at Chad Gable. And props to Chad Gable for chopping Gunther and then trying to avoid those chops at the very beginning. But unfortunately, it was not meant to be. Gunther was victorious here. And then they cut to Chad Gable's daughter, and she's in tears and she's crying. Oh my God. What a moment. Seriously, but as of Friday, Gunther will now be the official longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. And it's been one hell of a reign. He's had incredible matches. And you know what? Gunther deserves it. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there is a Raw exclusive that followed. Chad Gable is not done with Gunther. He wants another rematch. And honestly, if a rematch does happen, Gable should take that title off of him. Gable's moment will come soon. It will, maybe. But here's the thing, will it come before Fastlane? Will it come at Fastlane? I definitely do think it'd be too predictable if the next time they face each other, it happens really quickly, because then it'll, Gable will probably take the title off of him. I think they need to, stretch it out a little bit. Maybe to Fastlane, or a little bit after Fastlane. But you definitely don't want Gunther to lose the title right away. And obviously, probably next week on Raw, we will get the celebration. And as you guys, weddings, celebrations, and contract signings in wrestling never end well. I think it will come at Fastlane. I think so too. So I have a feeling, Chad Gable might interrupt or might try crashing that celebration. But But you know something? I really would have liked if they did a moment with the honky tonk man. You know, imagine, and JJ was the one. I don't know if you're still here, JJ, but I remember you talking about this, about how you wanted them to kind of bring the honky tonk man to Raw and kind of challenge Gunther for to defend his title reign. So, I wish they could have done something like that. But hey, this was incredible. So, congrats to Gunther. It's now officially, well, as of Friday, will officially be the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. But what did you guys think of the main event? Are you guys happy Gunther won? I still want it to be Ilya Dragunov to dethrone Gunther. A callback to the fact that he defeated Walter Gunther to take the NXT UK Championship off of him. That would be a nice callback. Okay. So Monday Night Raw opened up with Jey Uso coming out and cutting a promo. And you know how he talked about how Cody Rhodes had called him. And Michael Cole alludes to the fact that Cody Rhodes has been an EVP. So he has some pull. So obviously, as we all know, Cody Rhodes, when he was in AEW, was an EVP. And you know, Sami Zayn came out, you know, he talks about how Kevin Owens wasn't there that night. And he wanted to be the first person Jey saw, and that he's really proud of Jey and offers Jey his hand. Now, at first, you know, Jey doesn't give the hand, and Sami turns to walk away. And then Jey was like, that wasn't very Usi of him, and both men hugged. I really wish that they would have, if Sami Zayn would have called him my dog. Since when is Cody an EVP? No, he's not an EVP in WWE. He was basically saying since Cody has been an EVP, he's got some pull. I guess referring, you know, to his time as an EVP in AEW. But I really wish Sami Zayn would have called Jey Uso my dog during this promo. I think that would have been a nice little touch. So both men hug. And as Jey is leaving, you know, McIntyre's coming out and they have a stare down. And remember, it was a bloodline that, you know, did cause Drew, well, I should say Solo Sikoa, that his title at Clash at Castle. And then, you know, Matt Riddle has his issues too with Jey. So when he comes out, you know, he has that moment with Jey. And, you know, you can see Sami Zayn try to keep the peace. And we get a backstage summon with Seth freaking Rollins and Adam Pearce. You know, Pearce is trying to question why Seth is there because of his back. And Ricochet says that he doesn't have to carry the show all by himself. He has help. We get a tornado tag team match. It's the Glasbros, Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle. Wow, that's what they're calling them? I really like Riddle versus the Viking Raiders. I actually really enjoyed this tornado tag match. And, you know, I got to say, they're doing a really good job at rebuilding the Viking Raiders here because for a while they were kind of just there and they were taking a lot of L's. You know, one of my favorite moments in this match was that splash to Drew McIntyre that Ivar did off the announce table. I have to say, like, Kofi Kingston got involved. I guess he was trying to help Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle, but he actually cost him this match because, you know, he accidentally hit the Trouble in Paradise to Matt Riddle. A better name than a name that you would find on the McDonald's dollar menu. I don't think that would be on the dollar menu. And this allows the Viking Raiders to put Matt Riddle through a table with the Ragnarok. Kind of sounds like the Thor movie. So they're victorious. So clearly there's something, you know, going on with Kofi Kingston and Drew McIntyre. They might be planting some seeds there because I know later on in the night, you know, McIntyre does confront Kofi Kingston, and, you know, Kofi Kingston tries to make it seem like it was an accident, kind of like how Drew McIntyre accidentally threw that chair at Xavier Woods. So, okay. Can I get a McGriddle with the side of hash browns? You're funny. So we get a Seth freaking Rollins promo, and he's basically talking about how he wasn't sure if he was able to continue his fight with Nakamura. Now, obviously, they show what happened when they went off the air. Nakamura attacked Seth Rollins. I still maintain that they should have aired that. It would have made for a much stronger ending to Payback. Seriously. Because, like I said, if anybody watched Payback, the camera was zooming in on Seth Rollins, and you saw Nakamura in the back kind of just walk pacing. Like, it seriously thought it was going to end with Nakamura attacking him, but it didn't happen. I don't know why they didn't, air that. Basically, the whole point of this segment was that Nakamura comes out. I love the fact that Nakamura spoke Japanese. I'm glad we saw that footage. Yeah, exactly. And, basically, Seth Rollins offers Nakamura a rematch, and he assumes that Nakamura is accepting his offer because, he doesn't speak Japanese. I don't speak Japanese. I don't know what Nakamura said during that segment. But basically, a fight breaks out. Security breaks him up, and Ricochet comes out to help Seth Rollins. And then backstage, Seth Rollins blows up and Adam Pearce. And this leads into Ricochet versus Shinsuke Nakamura. We've seen this match before. I really didn't need to see it again. But one interesting thing is that Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley were watching this match. Not sure why, but they were watching. So, imagine in a DQ. We've seen this match before. Seth Rollins comes to help Ricochet at the end. It's not much more. We get Zoey Stark's backstage interview. And she's basically talking about how she's got a lot of respect for Trish, and Trish taught her a lot. But nobody pushes Zoey Starks around. And Shayna Baszler interrupts her. And she was basically saying when she was wondering when she was going to get rid of that dead weight of hers. Like, she got rid of Ronda Rousey. And basically, this whole thing sets up a match between both women. We get a Judgment Day promo. And while that image of them coming out with all the gold and, like, you see Finn Balor and Damian Priest with the tag titles on them, and the way they get introduced, that was a pretty badass image, if you ask me. So, what ends up happening is, like, Finn Balor congratulates Dominic on his 1-year anniversary of joining Judgment Day. He thanks Rhea Ripley for being the voice of reason. And then he gives a shout out to JD McDonagh, which, if you look at Damian Priest's face, he does not seem really happy about that. We also find out that Finn Balor thanks himself because now he's a Grand Slam champion, or as he called himself, Grand Slam Finn. They start talking about the ultimatum that Rhea Ripley gave him last week. They talk about how they rose to the occasion and show that they are truly a family. Okay, now they sound like Dominic Toretto here. Rhea Ripley brings up the fact that people are still talking about Jey Uso and about the bloodline when the bloodline has fallen and they've risen as the most dominant faction in the WWE. So when JD McDonagh comes out, he comes out with a bag and he starts talking to Damian Priest how that briefcase has to go. And he gives Damian Priest a new briefcase, probably one of the first custom briefcases that we've got. It's a purple briefcase and it says Senor Money in the Bank. Those piped in boos for Dom sounded awful. No one in the crowd was booing him. Yeah, definitely. As Dominic was trying to talk during this promo, you could tell they piped in the boos. Of course, Sami Zayn comes out and same old. This sets up a match, but he calls out Dominic. Dominic doesn't accept, and JD McDonagh steps in and accepts the match. And you could kind of tell Rhea and Damian Priest didn't like that. I really like how that purple briefcase looks like. Yeah, right? It's a pretty cool briefcase. Okay. So you get a quick Chelsea Green backstage segment. We find out Piper Niven is not medically clear to compete. Before anybody starts saying, oh my god, the curse got her, Fightful Select reported that Piper Niven is going to be fine, fortunately. They were told by WWE sources that there are no plans in place to vacate the tag titles or move them off of Niven's. The word backstage is that Niven was dealing with a short-term illness and would hopefully be back in a week or two if all goes well. It's the Grimace briefcase with the side order of fries, burger, and McGriddle. That's so funny. So there you have it. Pepper Nivens is reportedly dealing with a short-term illness. Thank God the curse did not get her, because I was getting worried there. Especially when Adam Pearce said that she was not medically cleared to compete. We get Shayna Baszler versus Zoey Starks. Shayna Baszler obviously wins when she puts Zoey Starks to sleep. I just hope that they don't make her a tag team with Zoey Starks. It kind of seemed like that at the end, but I really hope not. Okay. So we go backstage with Judgment Day, and like Finn Balor is still trying to make JD official, and he brings up the fact that they wouldn't be tag team champions if it wasn't for JD. And Rhea says basically we'll see how he does against Sami. And when Finn Balor and Damian Priest leave, she says that she tells Dominic to make everything's right, make sure everything goes right with JD. So we get Raquel Rodriguez versus Chelsea Green. First of all, I don't even know why they made this official. I mean, I guess, earlier during that segment, Chelsea Green kind of did insult Raquel Rodriguez, but Chelsea Green is not, she's a tag team champion. And Raquel Rodriguez technically right now isn't in the tag team division because Liv Morgan is injured. So what's the whole point of this? Like, Raquel Rodriguez, she wins this match. Back to the women's matches, John Fish. And at the end, I mean, like, seriously, if you wanted Raquel Rodriguez to make a statement, why not just pick a jobber or something? Like, you got a bunch of women back there that are not doing anything. Emma, Nikki Cross, where the hell is Xia Li? Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell. So basically, at the end of this match, Raquel says that she spoke to Adam Pearce, and next week when she faces Raquel, now I'm getting confused here. Sorry. Raquel says she spoke to Adam Pearce, and next week when she faces Rhea Ripley, Dirty Dominic is banned from ringside. So, what I think is going to happen here, Dominic is banned from ringside, but you know who's not banned from ringside? JD McDonagh. McDonagh, I can't, am I pronouncing that name correctly? McDonagh is not banned from ringside. And I think JD is going to get involved in this match, and he's going to help Rhea Ripley retain her title. What better way to get in on her good side and on Dom's good side than helping Rhea win this title? It's probably going to be one of those moments, kind of like a Payback, where Raquel is so close to winning the women's title, and then out comes JD. I don't think Rhea Ripley is losing her a title on a random episode of Raw. And JD, Priest, and Balor will be there. Exactly. Yeah, and the rest of Judgment Day isn't bound from ringside. I really hope with this whole Judgment Day storyline, it kind of seems like the JD is the Sami Zayn to the Judgment Day. But JD is no Sami Zayn. I don't think he, can play Sami's role here. But the fall of Judgment Day will come eventually. I just hope, I don't know when it'll come, but it'll come eventually. Maybe later this year, maybe on the road to WrestleMania, but definitely the fall of Judgment Day is coming. We get a Miz promo, Miz TV promo, and he decides to bring John Cena, which really is nobody there because, as you can't see John Cena. And I don't know why they thought this was a really good idea. He basically hits a skull-crushing finale on an invisible John Cena. And he challenges LA Knight to a rematch. Yeah, this was a pretty bad segment. Yeah, it was. So did not like the segment. And I said leading up Miz punching the air. I said leading up to a Payback that if they decided to make JJ with the yeah, good one. This segment was a ripoff of the scene where from The Happening where Mark Wahlberg was talking to a plant and Miz did the same but talked to a chair. Okay, I haven't seen The Happening, so okay. I said that their feud could potentially be a trilogy. So since LA Knight won the first one, I have a feeling Miz is gonna win the second one, and then the third one should be won by LA Knight. It's an awful movie though. Is that the M. Night Shyamalan one? Because if it is, yeah, I've heard about that. So we find out that someone from Raw is getting traded over to SmackDown because, Jey Uso came to Raw. So who do you guys think is getting traded over? Everybody on Twitter kind of seemed to agree when I asked this question that it was going to be Cody Rhodes. And you know what? Cody Rhodes wasn't even here tonight. He's actually coming back next week. You know what? I'm not even going to read this comment, JJ. I'm really not. I'm going to highlight it, but I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to read that. It's Cody Rhodes. Yeah, exactly. I think it's Cody Rhodes too. It has to be because how else do you get Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns on the same brand so that Cody Rhodes can eventually challenge for that title without having Cody Rhodes win the Royal Rumble? Because I think the person who wins next year's Royal Rumble is gonna challenge Seth freaking Rollins for that title. By the way, it's an I heard about that movie. So I honestly do think it's going to be Cody Rhodes. I can't think of anybody else that could go to SmackDown. More than likely, it's going to be Cody Rhodes. Because Sami Zayn versus JD McDonagh. I can never see this guy's last name. McDonagh? This is a decent match. But of course, JD McDonagh wins because Dirty Dom comes out, causes a distraction, and then JD with a handful of tights pins Sami Zayn. And at the end, Sami Zayn is beating up on Dominic, and you can see that JD is kind of hesitant to help at first. He eventually helps him, but he also takes the beating too. And when we go backstage, Finn Balor says that it was an impressive win over Sami Zayn. And we see Dominic, seems like he's trying to recruit Jey Uso. It starts bringing up how nobody likes Jey and he has no family. He says there's open arms for Jey in Judgment Day. And he tells Jey to think about it. Real talk though, JD is a very underrated heel. I didn't see what he did in NXT, but okay. I'm glad to see him getting a push. Yeah, same. It's definitely going to play a factor in that Judgment Day storyline. So I'm going to end right there because the main event, like I said earlier, was Chad Gable versus Gunther. Honestly, overall, tonight's Raw was a bit meh. I really liked the main event, and I really liked how we built to the main event. But I didn't really care for the 4 out of 10 mid-show. Yeah. I didn't really care for Shayna Baszler versus Zoey Starks. I didn't care for Ricochet versus Shinsuke Nakamura. The Tornado tag match was actually pretty cool. I also didn't care for Raquel Rodriguez versus Chelsea Green. Again, you could have had Raquel just face a random jobber. That Miz promo was ugh. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10. It was not a good Monday Night Raw. It wasn't, but it wasn't. No. But the best part of it was Gunther. I will say that. So that's all for today. Thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I'll see you guys Wednesday after Dynamite. Bye. Bye.